What's up, YouTube? So, decided that I need to do some form of camper build expectations, I guess. Need to possibly just set some expectations, more so with myself, on where we are with my camper build. You've seen a couple of videos where we've been over at Red Sky Teardrop Campers, and I've been helping Mike out with his build, gathering ideas and things like that. Well, I want to share some of those ideas with you, specifically around the trailer frame or the camper trailer frame, the trailer portion of it itself. And I have a really rough blueprint drawing that I've done on eMachines, and want to get your feedback, want to see what you guys think about it, and go from there. Hopefully this will engage some conversation in the comments below, and we'll be able to talk through some of these items and these things that I'm thinking that will make, you know, of course this trailer is going to fit me, but make things make sense with the trailer. I've got ideas in my head that I want to do, and I just kind of need to get them out. And hopefully you guys can provide some feedback. Tell me that it's right. Tell me that it's wrong. Tell me what you've done that is similar and how it worked out for you or how it didn't work out for you. But you can do all that in the comments below. So let's get started. So as I stated before, I wanted to basically run some ideas past you guys here on YouTube. Evening here on a Friday night, just got through eating some vegan barbecue. I stick to a plant-based diet. We had some baked beans and some green beans along with barbecue and a Brussels sprout coleslaw. Phenomenal. I'll throw a little video of what the sandwich looked like up in the middle of this, but had a couple beers, kind of digesting some food, and now ready to dive into this camper trailer frame. To start off with, I think I'm going to use obviously a steel frame construction. I don't want to go down the road of aluminum at this point. Welding aluminum seems to be brittle. There's a possibility of using some like 80-20 extruded style aluminum and bolting everything together, but my fear is that you're gonna have to constantly go in and tighten those bolts up. So kind of want to get away from that as well. So steel frame construction. So I'm gonna run some rails down the side. The rails are gonna be 2x2, not sure of the thickness yet, but a 2x2 inch square tube stock, and then some C-channel across. The tongue's gonna be constructed of a little bit of the same 2x2 square stock and some C-channel, and trying to space it out to where I can get a 20 plus gallon water tank that I want to use mainly for a shower when boondocking or dispersed camping, and also have enough room up underneath this camper to utilize the back portion or the back space underneath the galley to put a Propex propane furnace, so I can heat the inside during cold winter months if I go camping in the cold. I have gone camping pretty much so every month of the year in a tent, and being able to do this in a camper with some heat would be awesome. So that's kind of where I'm at with just the overall gist of what I'm looking at. Now, I'm going to pull up eMachine's blueprint style of what I've designed. This is nothing that I think is final. It's not going to be written in stone just yet. I've already got some changes I want to add to the drawing that I currently have. I just have not gone in and added any changes yet. There's got to be a bike rack. I want a tongue box. There's going to be a skid plate to protect the water tank that we talked about, and the Propex furnace. So those are kind of the things that I have laid out so far. We're going to be using the Timbren axles. They are going to be the HD long spindle axles. This is going to give me the best clearance. It's going to give me the capabilities of adding those items up underneath like I want, but then be able to add a skid that will probably only hang down maximum two or three additional inches past the frame itself, maybe 4, and still giving me close to 20 inches of ground clearance underneath the trailer. More than what my Jeep Wrangler currently has, and if I go with a different vehicle, it's definitely going to have more ground clearance than what that has. Okay, starting with the frame design and the frame construction. As you can see here in this drawing that I have on eMachine Shop, this is the rough idea that I have. We have dimensions. I think it's going to be roughly about 102 to 105 inches long as far as the camper itself. I've got 48 inches designated for the tongue. This could grow another foot, so it could end up being 60 inches. This is to accommodate a tongue box with a hitch, a receiver hitch up here to accommodate the one-up bike rack that I have that will hold up to 2, maybe 3 bikes total, but I need a little bit of room for that. It's going to actually go in the opposite direction. It's going to be going in an upward, from this drawing, it's going to go into an upward position and kind of backwards from how you would mount it to the back of a vehicle of some sort. I do have a trailer hitch down here in the bottom that I do not believe I'll be using. The trailer hitch on the back of the trailer itself with the axle placement, I'm doing a 60-40 split. 60% of the trailer is going to be in front of the axle line and 40% is going to be behind. I think that's going to add too much bouncing up and down, which is going to cause all kinds of issues and probably tear the rack up, tear the bikes up. It's just going to cause some issues that I don't really want to deal with. Plus, getting the bikes up to the tongue, I will be able to see those out of the rear window of the vehicle that I'm driving and pulling this camper with. So I think that in itself is worth its weight in gold. But I think that's going to be a better option, a better thing to do. So yeah, so you can see here, we're going to run a beam down toward the middle. These are going to be welded up underneath the actual trailer frame itself. But this is going to be 2x2. And then the sides here are going to be 2x2. Everything else crisscrossing is going to be 2-inch C-channel. And this is going to give me the capabilities of drilling holes through for the brake system on the tempered axles, through small holes in the C-channel itself, as well as wires for any type of tail lights that'll be on this back section, and gas plumbing for a stove on the galley or off to the side, plus a water heater for a shower off on this side, and then being able to plumb things, either or, to be able to just have a little bit more flexibility and make things to where it's modular. I don't want my stove to be stuck in the galley. I'd love to be able to pull it off onto the passenger side of the camper and actually cook under an awning away from the galley. Any grease splashing and things like that will be a little bit less likely to happen and soak into the wood inside of the galley, catching on fire later on or something stupid like that. Just, a little over concerned, but at the same time, easier to maintain, easier to clean, easier to just keep that galley just as nice looking as we possibly can. So we briefly touched on the axle-less axle system that I will be using from Timbren Axles. These are the 1-ton HD axle-less trailer suspension with long arm spindles. The long arm spindles will give me the capabilities of running the same offset wheel plus a 33-inch by 12.5-inch BF Goodwrench tire, which is what I'm currently using, or something very similar to that on this trailer without any worries of it rubbing, giving ultimate ground clearance up underneath. So as you can see with this system, it's a bolt-on direct, like it'll work with anything that I'm trying to fabricate. I will be able to bolt this on 3 bolts across the side. I think there's a couple bolts you can do across the bottom. There's a cross member. Once again, one of the 2-inch by 2-inch square tube steel tubing stock that goes across. It runs right through this hole over to another axle on the other side. You bolt it through these 2 holes. And as you can see, this is uses like a urethane / rubber style bushing as its suspension piece itself, giving it like the ultimate road like handability. It doesn't, like when you're traveling with this thing, you have no clue that you're pulling it behind you as long as the weight's distributed properly within the trailer itself. These spindles are capable of utilizing a electric brake system that they have, which I will be going with. So we'll be able to use the brake system And these axles are just going to give it like the most ground clearance, the best handling. Folks that use these have told me before that they don't even know that the trailer is behind them. I've even watched these go over several different railroad tracks, and they just kind of hug across the railroad track and barely move the vehicle that's towing them. It's pretty awesome. But these are definitely one of the ones that I want to go with. I don't think I want to go with anything else other than these. They're easy to set up. The instructions are pretty thorough. When I get to the point of utilizing these, there will be a new video. I currently have a video, and I'll probably throw a link to that up here. It's nothing that informative, but you can actually see the axle itself kind of in a video. And but yeah, I will be putting together an actual installation video, almost a full-blown how-to, but you'll get to see how these get installed and how easy it really is to install these. All right, so explained a little bit about the axles. Now we're going to go to the water tank that I want to use. I still haven't completely decided on the size or volume of a tank that I want. I'm thinking between 24 and 26 gallons. I believe that is more than enough that I'm going to need, but you know, if it can fit and it's not very disruptive in fitting, I'm going to go with the largest that I can. A couple of options that I've looked at are, you know, I think between 20 and 24 gallons. They're only 6 inches deep. And as you can see here in the drawing, my goal is to get them as close as possible to the center line of that axle, so back and forth. So this right here looks to be the best location that I can. This top cross member here is going to be 2-inch by 2-inch tube channel that is actually what's going inside those timbered axles that I showed you before. So this is not anything I can really change as far as placement goes. It is what it is. So the tank itself is going to be a little bit on the back end, but we're going to offset that with a bike rack, tongue box, 20-pound propane tank. All that's going to be up here on the tongue. We can throw that little extra weight up there just to kind of even that out. From here, we should be able to plumb water into the galley if needed, and there'll be a pump in the galley. We could plumb water to a shower that's going to be on the driver's side, along with plumbing some propane to be able to heat with a water heater of some sort that shower. We also will have a fender here, and then probably have a 5-pound, 11-pound propane tank on it. This propane tank will be dual purposed, either can handle the shower, or I'll be able to take the propane tank off, easier to carry than a 20-pound, and I'll be able to take this over to a picnic shelter if we're doing some group camping or something like that, along with the stove, and kind of cook with other people and not be tied to the galley or to the back of my camper. So this is the area here that we're going to add the Propex furnace and plumb it all in and try to keep us warm. I do a lot of camping year round. I've done some tent camping in just about every single month of the year, and there's times when I wished I had a heater. All right, so that's just the basics of what I have so far designed out, or ideas that I have in my head for the camper trailer frame itself. And I think everything's gonna be easily ran, you know, as far as electrical from the front of that trailer all the way back, plumbing the gas from the front all the way to the back, just the small area in the back plumbed for water. I think it's all gonna be easy. I may utilize 1-inch angle iron to kind of protect like on the left side, right side, the wiring and the propane lines or the gas lines I'm gonna run back, and kind of utilize it, strap those items down to that angle iron, but weld the angle iron up underneath to be able to act as a wire rack protection or wire loom, or you know, something to that nature. I think that'll also add a little bit more rigidity to the frame, but also just the main thing is just peace of mind and protecting the wiring, the gas, and the water, so that we don't gouge anything while off-roading or, you know, going over some larger obstacles that I probably shouldn't be going over, but who knows. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of what I was trying to do. Tongue box, I've seen a couple of things that have made sense as far as just buying something from Tractor Supply, but there's also the capabilities of designing something from scratch for the tongue as well. That's a possibility, who knows. I definitely want that one-up rack on there. If you haven't ever seen a one-up rack, One-Up makes one of the, if not the best bicycle racks in the market. It's aluminum construction, it's made here in the US. I think it's made out of Wisconsin or something like that. I'll throw a link in the description below. You'll be able to go check that out. If you watched any of my other videos, the Wilson Creek video, the Salem Lake video where I'm out cycling, you see me loading the bike up and taking the bike off of a rack on top of my Subaru. That is the One-Up rack for the top. They also make, and they're more famously known for the hitch mount racks that come off the back. They're modular. You buy one, you can buy a module that bolts to it to add a second bike rack. You then can add a third, and if you get the heavy duty version of it, you can add a fourth. Flat tire, it doesn't matter. This thing is gonna hold your bike in place with no issues. They have security, like a locking system that's really great as well. So it is literally the best and possibly the last bike rack you ever buy. But I'll throw a link down in the description and you can go check that out for yourself. A little pricey, but well worth it. So that's pretty much all I've got for this episode. More of just a discussion. I really do want some feedback on some of the ideas. Hopefully you'll see the schematics, the drawings that I've come up with so far, and it makes sense with what I was saying. I'm going to try to weld all this up myself. I plan on purchasing a Hobart Ironman 240. I do think this is going to be a lot of fun kind of fabricating all this on my own. Yeah, so hopefully soon I'll be able to get this thing welded up. Otherwise, click like on this video, subscribe to my channel, ring the bell so that you get notified on any of the upcoming videos that I have. Go check out some of the other videos, cycling videos that I have, the camper build stuff that I'm doing over at Red Sky Teardrop Campers. We'll see you out there on the next adventure. All right, so tonight, I'm not sure how much of this you can see, we're gonna be drinking a wonderful, wonderful Imperial Stout that's bourbon barrel aged from Four Saints Brewing Company. They're out of Asheboro, North Carolina. This beer is called Impending Grace. It is phenomenal. And as you can see, a beautiful stout, kind of chocolatey and rich, tad bit sweet, a little bit of that bourbony flavor to it. And absolutely delicious. If you're ever in the area, Asheboro, North Carolina, it's home of the North Carolina Zoo. If you're ever in that area, go check out Four Saints Brewing. These guys are awesome. Some of the best beer that you can find in the Triad area in North Carolina. So go see them and tell them Silas sent you.